Ever watch your favorite movie and think, wow, how do the writers come up with this stuff? Well, sometimes they don't. And the best line in the movie turns out to be your favorite actor spitting gems at the camera. Get ready to have your mind blown as you find out the top 10 movie lines that you didn't know were totally unscripted. Mock, yeah. Ing, yeah. Bird, don't everybody have you heard? See, that part was improvised. Actor Mark Starr sits cramped in between Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels in the car during the hilarious scene. In conversation, he told the guys that he hates loud noises. Well, when the director called action, they used that info to their advantage and started yelling / singing in his ear, and it was perfect. Dumb and Dumber will forever be a classic, and finding out this scene was improvised makes it even more legendary. That movie is the only reason we actually know that Mockingbird song. Thanks, Jim and Jeff. Jack Nicholson is one of the greatest actors of all time. He has an unforgettable performance in The Shining, where he's a complete homicidal maniac who's just trying to kill his own family. Real fun stuff. In this creepy scene, Jack Torrance, played by Nicholson, chops through the bathroom door with an axe, terrorizing his wife. In the midst of the madness, Nicholson yells, "Here's Johnny!" "Here's Johnny" is a phrase previously made popular by Ed McMahon on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Nicholson randomly thought of it in the moment, and it stuck. The way he pops his head through the hole in the door, grinning maniacally, probably made it too good for the editors to cut out. Casablanca is a classic romance, and it has one of the most quoted movie lines of all time. "Here's looking at you, kid." It just rolls off the tongue, and it's pretty hard not to say, like a 1940s movie star. What makes it even more romantic? It's what Humphrey said to Ingrid Bergman while teaching her how to play poker in between takes. Aw, how cute. In the movie, we can see them smirking at each other right after he says this line. It was their own little inside joke in real time. No wonder these two had impeccable chemistry in the movie. They were friggin' hanging out even when they didn't have to. Now that's what we call true love. Zoolander is a hilariously random movie that we all know and love. This part in particular, where Zoolander asked the same question twice, it was not planned. Ben Stiller just forgot his line. And instead of stopping the scene, he repeated the line he said earlier, "But why male models?" And it fit perfectly with his character, who's supposed to be an airheaded vain model. David Duchovny was clearly caught off guard and could have burst out laughing, but because he's David Duchovny from the X-Files, hello, he stayed in the moment and replied, "Are you serious? I just told you a moment ago," which was his honest response, and it worked like a charm. "You talking to me?" This is the line we say when we want to feel like a badass. And yeah, that's right, the line was perfectly improvised by Robert De Niro. This part of the script had no dialogue, and it said, "Travis talks to himself in the mirror." And De Niro, he brought it. Imagine being on set while everyone's watching you and you just gotta get out of your own head and go. Every single thing that the character, Travis Bickle, says during his insane conversation with himself in the mirror, Robert De Niro came up with off the cuff. Due to stingy producers, the equipment for Jaws was tiny, and they had a single support boat to keep it steady. So everyone on set started making a joke out of it, saying the phrase, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." Then they started using it as a catchphrase for whenever something went wrong. Shitty lunch? You're gonna need a bigger boat. Not enough crew members? You're gonna need a bigger boat. Roy Schneider frequently said the line while filming takes. He threw it in there and threw it in here, probably trying to make his co-star laugh. But in this instance, after seeing the shark in the water, "You're gonna need a bigger boat," fit right in. Robin Williams' character, Sean McGuire, was a therapist trying to get Matt Damon's character, Will Hunting, to open up to him. Williams, being the exceptional actor that he is, comes up with his story about his wife farting in bed on the spot and makes everyone laugh. Matt Damon's outburst of laughter is real, and if you watch closely, the camera is shaking because the cameraman couldn't contain his laughter either. Robin Williams was very genuine and sincere with any role he played, and he made such a huge impact on so many people's lives. This part tends to be everyone's favorite scene in the movie because it's so relatable. There's a lot of blood and gore in Reservoir Dogs because that's how Quentin Tarantino rolls. Most people wouldn't find torturing another human being fun, but it sure looks like Michael Madsen enjoyed it in this scene. Madsen, playing Mr. Blonde, improvised this whole entire scene. Talk about talent. All he needed was a good jam song, a knife, and he was good to go. The dancing and the witty remarks was all in the moment. The best part is when he takes the ear after he cuts it and talks into it saying, "Can you hear that?" Very sinister. Very funny. Midnight Cowboy had an extremely low budget. According to Dustin Hoffman, in 1969, no one wanted to make a movie about a male prostitute. It was considered filthy. In this 6th Avenue Street shot, there was no money to fill it in with extras, so they had to do what they call in the movie business, a stolen shot. They had hidden cameras across the street, and they planned the shot perfectly to coincide with the street lights changing so they could walk and talk. Of course, as soon as they start to film their first take, a cab runs the red light, which then motivates Dustin Hoffman to yell, "I'm walking here!" What was really going through his head was, "We're making a movie here, and you just ruined the shot!" But he stayed in character and made history. Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, is one of Hollywood's most terrifying dynamic characters, so much so that it earned Hopkins an Academy Award. His total screen time in Silence of the Lambs was only 16 minutes, roughly 11% of the film's entire runtime. But he still managed to freak us all out, including Jodie Foster, with his brilliantly improvised hiss in the scene. Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins never spoke to each other while filming Silence of the Lambs, not once. On his last day of shooting, she told him she was too scared of him to speak to him, and he admitted he was scared of her, too. In most of the takes, they weren't actually looking at each other. He was behind the partition, and they were directed to look down the lens of the camera. So when Hopkins randomly hissed in this take, it startled Foster because she wasn't expecting it at all because it wasn't in the script. And it 1000% terrified the rest of us as well. And there you have it. Now we know why they pay these actors the big bucks. Check back next time to stay up on what's rank-worthy.